If you are the type of TFT player that likes consistent compositions, well, look no further. The Duelist composition that's going around right now is one of the easiest to play, and they pretty much guarantee top 4s every single time. It doesn't matter if you don't have Zed 2, a lot of times it doesn't even matter if you hit Zed 1. As long as you follow certain steps that I'm going to show you, you will pretty much always top 4. And it's so funny because I talked to a lot of other high-rated players, and we developed this theory called Schrodinger's Duelist. No matter what happens when you play Duelist, you're going to get third. It doesn't matter if you are playing on a Smurf account, you'll get third on Duelist. It doesn't matter if you're playing on your main account at the highest level, you're going to get third. It's just like an automatic third place comp. Some people like that, some people don't, but it's very, very consistent, again, if you follow the steps that I'm about to show you. We're going to go over around 4 or 5 games, and the first game I'm going to show you is kind of like a typical game. You know, you're not going to get the most high roll stuff, but you're going to build the right items, you're going to spike at the correct times, and because of that, you're still going to get 4th or better pretty much no matter what. There are going to be some other games that we'll explore on showing how to win with the comp and what circumstances lead up to that. And we'll also cover some weird scenarios, such as games where you start off the game with a spatula, games where you're heavily contested, and games where you don't even get Zed in your shop throughout the entire time. So let's start off with this game right here. This is going to be the typical game. So we get Vitality of the Ox. Extremely, extremely, extremely good augment for this build because you're going to be running ideally 8 Duelists, if not around 6. And when you do that, you just get a ton of healing from this augment. There are some conditions that I use before committing to a Duelist comp. So one of them is having either a chain or a rod, because the magic item that we're going to be building is Locket of the Iron Solari. We get a little lucky here. I'm not going to deny that. We get a Fiora 2 to start the game, but we don't have the 4 Duelists early game Exodia that normally is being played. So if you ever get a chance to play 4 Duelists on stage 2-1, pretty much do it every single time. Another item that Duelist comps like is bow items and maybe like an Edge of Night, but you really want to save your chain vests for Lockets of the Iron Solari. You want around 2 of them. 3 of them is a little overkill, but the difference between 1 and 2 Lockets definitely can be felt pretty hard. So just keep that in mind whenever you're playing this build. Another benefit of this composition is that it's really easy to play because as long as a unit says Duelist on the card, you will know that you should probably buy it. And whenever you're doing those like rolling intervals, sometimes we roll on 3-2, sometimes we roll on 4-1, and pretty much like we go to 0 gold a lot because it's like what they call a tempo comp. We all know how in real life like time is money, right? Well, time is life total in TFT, so we always got to protect our HP whenever we're playing this. So the title I have for this game here, it says Zed Horrible Items. So we're going to see what items we actually end up getting. A lot of people think you need to itemize Zed. A lot of people think you need to itemize Vayne. We're going to find out that they're really not that important. Again, you just need the Lockets. That's kind of the lesson of this game. And then after that, we'll go into some of those different scenarios where maybe like weird stuff happens and it'll show you how to adapt to different types of Duelist games. But this one, we have an okay start so far. I mean, obviously we have the Fiora 2, but we don't have the 4 Duelists in quite yet. That's really the big power spike in the beginning. So the early game in stage 2 is super important for this Duelist comp because the whole point of the comp is to get a lot of health or have higher health than other people and wait for everyone else to bleed out because this comp is super strong at 4 Duelists in stage 2, super strong at 4 to 6 Duelists in stage 3, and super strong with 6 to 8 Duelists in stage 4. After that, you fall off really hard unless you get Vayne 3. But it's hard to get Vayne 3 because there are a lot of recon players, and there are also other Duelist players that are griefing your units as well. So it's a little tricky, but we're going to drop the chain on Nyla. Nyla is the item holder for your Lockets, and then we'll just drop the sword on Sivir just because we're going to sell her anyways, and we're going to make 10 gold here. No need to pre-level because we want to make the interest gold instead, but let's say you were at 6 gold here instead of 10, then yeah, I would probably pre-level. It wouldn't be so horrible. You don't have to either. It depends what Duelist you're looking for. So the Duelist we're looking for right now is Yasuo, Kayle, Vayne. I think any one of those 3 would do. So if you pre-level, you have a lower chance of getting Kayle. If you don't, you have a higher chance of getting Kayle. But you'll have a harder time finding either Yasuo or Vayne. So it really depends on which type of unit you're going for. So here, we want to get the rod, just slam the Locket, and call it a day. If we can't get that, I'd like to get a chain vest so that I could build Edge and Knight and then have another chain ready for my other locket once I do get the rod. And if I can't get that, I'd get something like a bow. But I think, nice, we're able to get the rod here so we could start slamming these lockets. Let's take a look at our shop here. We do end up getting the vein despite not pre-leveling. So we're finally able to hit the 4 duelists and we have the locket. We probably should level up here. So win streaking and lose streaking, you don't really pay attention to that too much with Duelists because you really just want to win as many rounds as possible. Also, don't ask me why I'm buying this Jinx. I should probably buy the Rel and play the Rel instead. It's not the end of the world, but I'll also slam the sword on my Vayne. So contrary to popular belief, a lot of people itemize Zed and they're like, I want Edge and Knight, Last Whisper, Rune on Zed. And that is a fantastic build for him. But when you're doing the Locket version, you don't need any of that. If you're doing the hacker version, then yeah, Zed, you want to itemize him up. But in the Duelist version, you want to just focus on Vayne items. And believe it or not, a lot of the Zed one-tricks or Duelist one-tricks that I know, they put a Thieves Glove on Zed. That's actually one of their favorite items. Items are pretty limited in TFT, and when we're building so many Lockets, you're not going to be able to get enough items to itemize both Vayne and Zed and still have enough room for Lockets and even like tank items for Sejuani. So Void Sin actually put this to me in the most like straightforward way because I was like, hey, why is Thieves Gloves good on Zed? And he's like, well, Zed sucks. He jumps to the back line and he dies to Talia. That's pretty much what he does a lot of times because people protect their Talias from the Zed. So when you build a Thieves Gloves on him, he either gets damage items, which is what you would have built on him anyways, or he gets tank items so that he doesn't die to the Talia. If he happens to get ability power items, that's unlucky, but who really cares since it's only a Thieves Glove. So far that logic has been working out pretty well for me, and when I've been playing it in my games, it's been working too. So we went 2 loss, 3 wins here. Obviously not the best of outcomes, but again with Duelists, you just want to be high health. Streaking, obviously, the best outcome is to win every single game in Stage 2, but since we didn't start with 4 Duelists, it was very difficult to, and then we purposely didn't like try to keep a lose streak after we already lost like the first round or even the 3rd round. We immediately just started trying to win again because, again, health is the most important resource when you're playing this composition because you're really just going for a top 4 and ideally a 3rd. We get another Locket here, no damage items, so this sword on our Vayne, we're not able to complete anything. I guess if you really want to, you could build a Spear of Shojin on her. It's not the best item, but tears are pretty useless in this comp. So if you did build it, I wouldn't really spank you. And slamming items is also super important because, again, we're not playing for the late game, we're just playing for the early and mid game. So even if you have suboptimal items, it really just doesn't matter because the goal is just to win all these rounds and then have everyone die to the rerollers or have the rerollers die because they don't hit. And then you just end up placing pretty solidly and you get around like 10 to 20 LP per game, which is pretty solid, right? So after like 5 games in a day, you go up 50 or 100 LP, depending on whether you got 4th or 3rd, and you just go from there. Let's check out these augments. Pandora's Bench, Luden's Echo, Celestial Blessing. So Pandora's, we're not really rerolling, so that's kind of useless. Luden's, well, we're in an attack speed comp, so we don't really need that. And notice what I'm doing here. I'm rolling down because I'm trying to hit a couple more Duelists. And you want to roll at early levels because, one, I'm playing 2 Vaynes, so I have a Vayne pair, and I also have like a Nyla pair right now, so I could arguably roll, I think, 3 more times, and I can sell the Vel'Kozes to get my gold back up. And we're also missing Yasuo or Zed, which both of them we could hit at level 6. Obviously, Yasuo is going to be a little more often, but we really want that 6 Duelist power spike, and we're not quite hitting it yet, but we do get the Vayne too, so that's good enough for me here. Now, if you're one of those people who are too scared to roll on 3-2 at level 6, I hate to say it, but this team composition just won't be for you because this team comp revolves around getting a lot of damage early on, saving your health, and you just got to roll out 3-2 a couple of times. You do prefer doing it when you have a bunch of pairs. This game, we didn't have that many pairs. That's why we had to roll all the way down to 10. But most other games, if you get like a little more fortunate with your early game drops, maybe you have like a Gangplank pair, maybe you have a Yasuo pair, maybe you already have the 6 Duelists, but they're all 1-star. You don't have to roll as much. You could roll maybe down to like 30 or maybe 20. You don't always have to roll down to 10 like I did here. Also, make sure to scout because you need to be able to judge how strong other players are. If everyone is super weak, you don't have to roll that much. In fact, sometimes you don't even have to roll at all. But if they're pretty strong, then of course you have to roll a little more. Always scout before this round on like 3-1 During the battles, just click around, see what's happening on other boards, and then that'll give you a better idea of how much gold you'll need to roll on 3-2. But this is pretty much exactly where we want to be. We're winning a couple rounds in stage 3. We're not winning everything, you know? Like, I'm not turbo Mr. 100 win streaking everything. Let's get probably the rod here. The second Negatron, I went for the Negatron. I don't think that's worth it. I think getting another rod for maybe a third Locket would be good. Maybe I could build the Dragon Claw. This one's really tough because you want to build a tier item, but since we were last pick, it was very difficult to do. I guess here we could build like a Chalice of Power. You really just want to get rid of the tiers. The best item you could build from Negatron Cloak is going to be a Runon's Hurricane, but if we get a bunch of bows, we're going to have like too many items to build anyway, so we really just need to slam an item here. Whether that is a Dragon Claw or a Chalice of Power, honestly, I don't really think it matters because you just need to build anything, and as long as you have 2 Lockets, no matter what the rest of your items are, it doesn't matter. You will get third no matter what. It doesn't matter if in our next shop we see 3 Zeds or if we never see Zed the entire game. If we have the Lockets, that's the power level of our board. And yeah, pretty much nothing matters. I played this comp so many times this set already. Maybe I played over like 30 games of Duelists. I don't actually know. I haven't been keeping count of everything, but probably like 20 out of those 30 games have been 4th or 3rd. Maybe 5 of them have been a bot 4, and maybe 5 of them have been a 1st or 2nd. It really doesn't matter what you build. I've had all sorts of high roll starts. I've had all sorts of low roll starts, and most of them just end up being either a 3rd or a 4th. You may have noticed I haven't been talking too much about what I'm doing on each turn. Essentially, I'm just having 5 units up front. I have the Rammus and Ashen right now. I think Rammus is just a very solid unit in any comp to just splash in. And then just hit them all with the Locket, put the Vayne in the back, and you're good to go. If the unit in your shop says Duelist on it, just buy it. The only 3 stars you really care about is Vayne 3-star. Nyla 3-star, while very good, it's not that powerful, so don't really buy her unless you're getting Nyla 3 for free. The only late game, like, 3-star you're really looking for is just Vayne. And if you do manage to hit the Vayne 3, those are the games where you could try to get first place on. So we sold a bunch of stuff to make interest up to 50. There's a Yasuo. We're going to pick him up. We could finally play our 6 Duelists. So a lot of times you get 6 Duelists on stage 3-2, and you just blow past everyone in the fights. I don't know if you guys were watching the fights that closely, but we pretty much steamrolled most teams even at 4 Duelists. But 6 Duelists, you just completely wipe them out. On stage 4-1, it's still strong, but not as strong as it was in stage 3. But sometimes you could get to 8 Duelists if you have, like, what's that thing called? Like the Duelist emblems or Duelist crests. And those are really how you get a lot more power. So we get double belt here. So we still have not completed 1 damage item on our Vayne. Just imagine that. Most other comps, if you're in this situation, you just don't get the damage items that you want. Like this guy's playing Lux, right? He's got 2 Lux items. We have 0 Vayne items. He needs those 2 Lux items. If not, he will not succeed at all. Let's take a look at the augments here. So Portable Forge, Salvage Bin, Celestial Blessing. We already have a Celestial Blessing, so you could take Forge, but it's not the best. So I went greedy, went for the reroll, but then we get something even worse. So maybe I should have just taken the Portable Forge and got like maybe a Death Defiance for my Zed, or just maybe Collector on Vayne or something like that. Literally anything. Most of the Ornn items aren't that great because Randuin's pretty useless. Black Cleaver's okay. Collector, like, it's okay. You put it on Vayne as a damage item. Death Defiance is really the only good one. You could drop that on Zed. I'm sure they're all usable, but because of the way we're positioned, like Anima Visage is pretty useless because we don't really have a dedicated tank, though we do have Warmog, so we could put it on Sejuani later. But you really want stuff like Knife's Edge. Maybe you get like target dummies. Target dummies are extremely good because you have more stuff to lock it up and then you can protect your dudes. But it really doesn't matter. We have a completely wasted augment, a wasted gold augment, the most powerful augment in this game right now because we had a hero and silver. And you'll see that it just really doesn't matter for the grand scheme of things. And look at this fight. We do lose this one. This guy's got a triple item Senna. He's got the Stand United trait. And yeah, Senna's also 2-starred. We don't have our Zed yet. Sometimes you roll on 4-1 to find your Zed. But since we have the double Locket, I decided to kind of just take it a little more easy. I played a little greedy this game. So this is one of those games where I was like, oh, maybe I could get to level 8 and then roll down a bunch of gold there, hit Z2 and carry, hopefully get better than a third. A lot of times when you're playing this comp, you end up mind gaming yourself because you get so tired of getting third place and getting 20 LP every single game that you're like, oh, I want to get that 40 LP hit from getting a first, or that 50 LP hit, depending on what your rating is. And then you fool yourself into playing for like a first or a second. And you just have to always remember whenever you're playing this comp, only play for third or fourth. As long as you play towards that condition, it'll happen 90% of the time. And that's my mistake here. So I greeted the gold. I wanted to get to level 8, and that caused me to lose 2 rounds, which isn't the end of the world since they're kind of small losses. We're still 56 life. It's middle of the pack, but you'd much prefer to be maybe at like 65 had we rolled down, maybe hit like a Z1, for example. But I was greedy. I'm like, oh, let me save my gold to hit a Z2. Big mistake there. Also, we need some damage items. We wanted that bow. Don't get it, so I guess we go glove. This is our first damage item for our Vayne, which is an IE, which is not best in slot at all. I'd call it maybe medium in slot, but IE is typically a bad first item. It's a great third or second item, but as a first item, it's not that great because it's a multiplier, and since we only have one item, we have nothing to multiply. So sad times there. We get a Sejuani, which is pretty good. We get to replace the Ashe, and not enough gold to level up yet. I mean, we could, but we don't have 8 duelists because we didn't get the crest, so not really worth it to level up quite yet. At level 8, you like playing stuff like 6 duelists, 2 hacker, and maybe 3 laser core with the Sejuani. But we're able to... actually, we're not able to do that much here. This guy's probably going to destroy us. This Rammus, holy cow, for some reason jumps all the way to my Vayne, and this Vel'Koz really shut us... he shut our one item Vayne down a lot, so we end up losing this round. A little unfortunate there, but again, we're pretty much down in augments, so it's not the end of the world. We're still third place in terms of life total right now, so while it's not the best shape, I've been in better shapes before, it's still semi-decent. We also don't have Zed yet. This other guy does have Zed, but we finally hit him down in stage 4-6. And one thing I like to do, I like using Gangplank as an item holder. It works really well because you want as many range units as possible because you have your full front line locketed up. So Kale is better than Gangplank in this situation. A lot of people were running Gangplank over Kale whenever they play a duelist comp in the late game, and that's because Gangplank gives a healing debuff, whereas Kale doesn't. Look at this guy. He's got a Z2. He's got perfect items. He beats us. Don't get me wrong. He beats us, but he also spent all his gold, and he has Knife's Edge. So he's pretty much our comp, but just better. But let's see how he places, and then we'll see how we place. We don't really get anything in our shop here, but we're just going to roll down at level 8, hopefully hit Z2 and Sedge 2, and maybe get Vayne 3. It's not looking likely. We didn't natural many copies. We end up getting a Rod from this Drake, and then... there's a Runons at least. Do we want it on Vayne or Zed? So Vayne is strong during stage 4. Later on, Zed kind of becomes better, and unless you have Vayne 3, so it's a little bit of a rough situation. We're going to roll it down. We're going to get some hacker in. We do end up getting the Zed 2, so that's perfectly fine for us. I'd say this is around like an average game, you know? Sometimes you have better items, but maybe our health total would be a little lower. Maybe we don't have Zed 2 with the better items. Sometimes you get Zed1 with perfect items. It's around like the same power level. We'll drop the Runons on Vayne. I know Runons is best in slot, not best in slot, second best in slot on Zed, but whenever you're running a lot of duelists, Vayne actually ends up being a much better carry when you don't have that many hackers in. It's not that Zed's bad. Like, itemizing him right now, I'd say at this point, Zed is a little better, but I think later as the game goes on, the Vayne... if we get it to Vayne 3, it'll help us a ton. Also, Infinity Edge alone is pretty much a useless item, so that's another reason why I want to put an item on Vayne. So if I had maybe an item remover, I'd put both items on the Zed, but we're not in that luxury right now. So we do see one Vayne, but we have 0 gold. We're at 20 life. Probably not going to hit it. We're facing this guy. He's the Senna guy that we lost to before, but we get nice positioning on our Zed. We're on a Sivir. This Vayne is attacking the Zac. Zac is such a good tank right now against single target comps, but if you're AoE, he doesn't bother you that much. But we get good positioning on Zed. Even without items, look at the Zed. He's doing a lot of work, you know? That's why like the Thieves Gloves works pretty well on him, because Vayne's absolutely useless without items. But again, in these 2 specific fights that we just fought, itemizing the Zed would be a lot better. Let's roll down again. We don't really see much. We're just waiting for Sejuani right now. Now we're facing a Senna 3. We're on the wrong side. Our Zed's jumping over to the Vel'Koz. Not the end of the world, because Vel'Koz still does need to die, but this Senna is really the target we wanted to kill. Hopefully our Sejuani gets a good ult, but she gets tricked out by the enemy team, so she doesn't end up doing that. But look at this Vayne. Look at this Zed cleaning up a little bit. Are we able to... I don't think we win this one, but... Wait, we actually do. Holy cow. I don't even remember winning this fight, but we beat a Senna 3 somehow with 6 Duelists, 3 Laser Core, 2 Hacker. All these items here kind of suck, so we're just going to go for a Rage Blade. The fights don't last long enough to justify using a Sunfire Cape. We really wanted just like a generic Duelist item. Also, like this game, we didn't get Duelist Crest or anything like that, or Duelist Emblem, so we're hard stuck 6 Duelists, which really does hurt. If you do end up getting those, you can kind of just drop the bad Duelists, such as Gangplank and Kale eventually, for just random legendary units, maybe like a Fiddlesticks, and anything of that nature, even like a Mordekaiser. But we put the Rage Blade on Zed, again, just because I had some regret on not itemizing the Zed earlier, because he was kind of smurfing in these fights. Normally your opponents are a little bit stronger than this, and Zed would have fell off already, but he's got decent matchups into it. So I kind of did a bad job scouting this game. I don't know why that is. It's just something that happened. So again, that's why I like reviewing games, because you can see things that you do differently and how, and hopefully improve on it in your next game. So we're facing this guy with, what is he running? He's running Sure Shots or something like that. Was this the Senna 2 guy that we faced before that kind of win streak the whole time? Yeah, you can see here, without Edge of Night, Zed's like a horrible unit, right? He spikes so hard with Edge of Night, but without it, it's a lot different. We get a big hit there. We're down to 3 life, but look at that already. We got a top 4. That's all you can ask for, you know? It's pretty much guaranteed. I feel like I'm getting trolled with this item anvil because we just did a regret item on our Zed by putting the Rage Blade on him, and then we see the Thieves Glove. So I got really depressed after looking at this. But we just go for Giant Slayer, just drop it on Zed, you know? Or Vayne. Vayne's better with Giant Slayer, so I'm putting the opposite items on the wrong people. Rage Blade Giant Slayer is really good on Vayne because she attacks only tanks, and she has more time to stack up the Rage Blade. So putting it on Zed, even though Zed is kind of like my quote-unquote main carry right now, it's just better on the Vayne. We get sniped by this guy. His Zed's on our Vayne, so that's a little unfortunate. But this is a perfect item Zed guy, and he hit his Zed 2 earlier than us too, right? So I guess we get knocked out by him here, but you know what? What do we get? I forgot what happened this game. We get... Come on, we get a 3rd. No, 4th. 3rd. Holy cow. That is the power of Lockets. Imagine how the game goes differently if we actually hit stuff. Again, if we hit our Zed earlier, like obviously that helps out a ton too. Maybe we'll have a little bit more life. But let's go into a game and see what happens where we don't get any Lockets. By the way, the best item start if you're actually just brainlessly forcing this comp is going to be a chain. I don't blindly force this. I like starting bow because it allows me to flex into other things. But if you do want to just only play Duelist, start with chain always. It gets you your first Locket, and if you get like too many chains, you could build an Edge of Night. So we end up selling up to 10 gold here. You don't always have to do this. If the units are good, keep them. But Draven, I hate Draven so much in the early games that I pretty much always sell him. So we just make a free interest there instead. I probably sold some other stuff I may have wanted to keep, but you're in a time crunch sometimes when you're on these neutral rounds. But let's buy the Duelists again. We have Gangplank and Fiora. Sword start isn't horrible, but we get a tier, which is the worst thing you can get. But we do get a Duelist Crest here. So even though we have bad items, if you have Duelist Crest or Duelist Heart, Duelist Crown, whatever you want to call it, it's going to be good. I end up doing like a quick scout here, but since we already have Gangplank and Fiora, just go ahead and take it. Yasuo you get from the augment, so then you could just play 4 Duelists right away after you level up. I don't even know what I'm scouting for. Like, if there are 2 other Duelist players, maybe like don't do it, but like these other options, I guess I'd go Blue Battery since I have a blue buff and force Yumi otherwise, but like, yeah, just... It's a Duelist video, so you guys know what I'm taking. We get the Yasuo. We're going to see the power of the 4 Duelist power spikes. We level up for sure, even though we're not building any items. And I think having Fiora on the outside, Renekton right next to her is the best way to position Renekton, because you want Renekton to get like 2 casts off, and he's pretty much guaranteed 1 every time when he's 2-starred, but Yeah, when he's in the middle, he'll probably get 2 casts in a long fight. We'll itemize GP. GP is generally the item holder for your Zed, and then Vayne just holds her own items because she is my queen. And yeah, we win this fight pretty easily. That's a 4 duelist diff right there. This next shop doesn't have any duelists in it, so it's garbage. I did do a quick scout and saw that other people were a little strong, so I do a cheeky level up to drop in Laser Core. And I just dropped the tier on Senna. I'm going to sell her, so we don't really... we just drop the item on her just to get her cast off a little bit faster. We get a perfect lineup for Senna if she ends up casting, but nice. She hit 3 units right there. But again, duelists are so good at win streaking that when you do get the start, it's okay to do the aggressive leveling sometimes. So either you have a nice item, in which case you don't need to level up. But in this game, we got a gold drop. So we have extra gold. That's where our advantage is. So we don't have any items. So we just got our power from other means. So we are facing 2 stars. Also, like, Galio with Sunfire from Gadgeteen. That's actually pretty strong against us because Renekton's kind of our carry, and we have a lot of melee units to get burned. But we do have the extra level. We have very good traits, so we still win this one pretty easily. We have 3 units live. I'm just reading what items tier can build because it's just so useless. There's nothing you want in the duelist comp with a tier. I guess you could go for Protector's Vow for Sejuani, but that's so far down the line that you don't even want it. I should get the chain here. Wow, I get the glove. I think I build Hand of Justice in this game, but I should have just taken the chain because lockets are so important. I'm trolling here. Don't do what I did here. I guess you could argue that we're win streaking, so I want to build an item so that I can maintain the win streak. You could argue that. That was probably how I justified that, but not having a locket, just so disgusting. But I guess I get to show you guys a game of what happens when you don't get locket. We're against a blue buff Zoe. That's actually pretty scary, but Reneki is too tanky. Renekton's probably one of the best early game units because he's both tanky and does damage. So there's a lot of debate on who is better, Blitzcrank or Renekton. So obviously we're running Laser Core sometimes. So for us, Renekton's going to be better. But let's say you're playing Brawlers. Who do you play, Blitzcrank or Renekton? So early game, Renekton's usually better. Unless you have like 4 damage units and you need 1 tank, then like Blitzcrank's tankier than Renekton. But in the early game, Renekton does both really well, tanking and damage. That overall he's just better. But in the late game, Blitzcrank has a % damage reduction, so he's incredibly good at tanking in the late game despite being a 1 cost. This guy, yeah, we just get a 5 streak right there. Look at how easy this was. Like, it's just 4 duelists. Either you get the emblem and you get to 4 duelists, or you just natural 4 duelists. You could do like Kale, Fiora, Gangplank, Yasuo. Sometimes you even hit a Nyla. You could also get Vayne, but if you ever get Nyla in stage 2, you could pretty much just turn off your computer, take a 5-minute break, come back to a 5-game win streak anyways. We get a belt and sword. So sword's good. We could build a Edge of Night with that. Belts, not so much, because we don't really need the tank items if we have the lockets. But again, this game we don't, so we'll see what we have to do. We're actually contested. That other guy's going for Duelist as well. We're going to level up here because we're 100 health, and we are the only person win streaking. We end up facing another guy who levels up. God knows why he levels up because he's not even streaking. This guy, like, he is stronger than me, but I just don't get why he levels up. By the way, we built a Deathblade on our Gangplank just to use all our items just because we wanted to continue the streak. But we do end up losing to this guy, which is really, really unfortunate because we did level up. It means we just lost an extra gold. But I guess we have 40 anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But I don't know why that guy leveled up. It really doesn't make any sense to me because he's just not, even after that win, he's still not on a win streak. So it just makes 0 sense. Phony front line, that is the play here because with lockets, you just get free locket value on the phony front line. And if you don't have lockets, it gives you like your own tank line. Essentially, no matter what situation you're in, phony front line is going to be very good in Duelists. And it makes complete sense. We're running like 6 to 8 damage units, so you just need tanks. So we're facing a Recon guy. Recon's probably my favorite comp. I think I said that a lot. We get a targeting on our target dummy, so that's pretty good. Let's see if Renekton can end up carrying. Renekton's kind of falling off of it. This is the times where you need like a Vayne in the backline to really do a lot of work, but we just haven't seen her in our shop. And notice here, we didn't roll down on stage 3-2. That's because we have a lot of life total. I'd rather roll down at 3-5 at level 7 or at 4-1. Hopefully this is a good comparison on different games on like when you do an aggressive roll down and when you don't, because not everything's always set in stone. Uh-oh, this guy's got Nyla too. He's got a Zed. He's got a Fiora, Yasuo, and Kale. Is this the same guy that was going Duelist before? I honestly forget, but he got Laser Core and Brawler emblems, so he's probably pivoting out of that, which is good news for us. Hopefully he sells a Nyla by the time we roll down, but I doubt it. Nyla's just really good in general, especially in the early to mid game, because her heal just heals so much that a lot of units just can't kill stuff. So we have a belt, so maybe like Warmogs would do. I don't really like building Zeke's. Oh, Glove would have been the best for Shield Breaker, actually, but I don't really like building Zeke's, but I'm going to take the sword anyways just to build a different sword item. Duelists already get so much attack speed that adding the Zeke's onto that is just a little overkill, so only build it if you really have no other options. But we'll just play this Kale here. We'll roll a little bit. I just want to get to the magic number of 6 Duelists. There's a Sedge, that's huge. I should keep the Blitzcrank, play it over Senna, but I'm probably not seeing that play since I'm doing the roll down. There is our queen, the Nyla. We get the 6 Duelists in. Sell all this garbage on our bench. Don't need any of that anymore. Yeah, you don't need to play threats in this comp. You don't really need Echo either, even though we got Echo Pair. You could hold on to it if you want, if you want to flex into something else, but you really just don't need to. So we hit the 6 Duelists. No Zed, though, so that's a little sad. This other guy's going Zed, too. These hacker emblem. How many Zeds are there? Okay, we're super contested this game. Surely we don't do well, right? Because we're not going to hit Zed, and that's the reason why this comp is pretty powerful, because of the 4-cost carry, just like every other comp in the history of TFT. But surely we do horribly this game. This shop, not that interesting. We still have this Renekton, so for the discussion of who should hold the Duelist crest, it really doesn't matter. Sometimes I put it on LeBlanc, sometimes I put it on my Sejuani. I honestly haven't noticed a difference, but if someone has a very definitive answer, let me know down in the comments below. We're facing a Samira. He's got a bit of a weird mix of items. No Last Whisper. I always say this, never play Samira unless you have Last Whisper, but he's probably using it as an item holder into something else. I think he's looking for Jax, which is funny because he has like really good Jax items, but no Jax. We do eventually want to shift these items over onto our Vayne, but we just don't have Vayne or Zed yet, the 2 most important Duelists. From the camp, we get a tier, 2 tiers in it. Remember how I said tier is the worst item, and we already had 1 of them? We get 2 more of them, so we have a 3-tier game. That's not what you want to see. We want to use a Chain Vest for a Locket, but do we have to build Protector's Vow and Redemption here? They're pretty good items on Sejuani, but in this comp, it's a little not necessary. Also, would you guys roll down here? I decided not to because, again, I'm kind of tricking myself into, or deluding myself into thinking I could do better than 3rd place. I end up building the blue buff on Sejuani. I've looked at the data. Blue buff's not horrible on Sejuani, and since it's such a bad item in Duelist comp, like getting Sejuani to cast much faster is pretty valuable because the Duelist fights last so short, especially once you have Hacker Zed, because you just gain all the attack speed really quickly in the beginning, and then hopefully the fight ends, either you die or they die. So getting an early cast off on Sejuani helps a ton. So that's why blue buff isn't horrible on her. But if you build Protector's Vow plus Redemption, I wouldn't be angry at you. Now we get our augments. Jubilant Veil is pretty good, but I end up re-rolling because I'm like, I want the Zed augment. So I get a little bit greedy. We get the Edge of Night, though, which is really good, obviously. Let's sell this Gangplank. So we have 2 Edge of Nights. And, oh, I didn't realize we built it before. So that's extremely good then. Yeah, just put 1 on Gangplank, 1 on Vayne. And then once we get the Zed, we swap over the Gangplank items on over to the Zed. Since we're 81 health, let's just play the waiting game. And play more towards, maybe we could get the Vayne 3 this game. I forget if we ever do in any of these games, I'll be honest with you. But it's either Vayne 3 or Zed 2. Hopefully one of them carries. We do have the double Edge of Night, which is incredibly nice. But let's see what this guy does. Okay, we get the kill there. Obviously no Lockets hurt, but we were able to get a pretty good mid-game anyways. Stage 4 is pretty dangerous, though. Sometimes the 1-cost rerolls hit during early stage 4. Sometimes people get lucky on a 4-1 roll down and get 2-star 4 costs. During our quick scout, we see other Duelist players having Zed already. So not an ideal situation here. Yeah, 2 other people going Zed despite not getting Zed augment. That's how hard they're like forcing the comp and like kind of griefing me, which really hurts my day, you know, because like look at mine. I have Duelist Crown, I have Phony Frontline, I have Into the Night from Vayne, and then this guy's got Toma Trace, which got him Brawler and Laser Core, Celestial Blessing, which is good for Duelist, but then he gets a Samira augment, but he's still playing the Zed. And like, what do I have to do to get other people to not play Zed? On this carousel here, there's just a Zed with bow chilling right there. The Jax player gets it, luckily. I guess we go for another Vayne item, go for some sort of sword or attack speed. There's no attack speed. Maybe get the... sword got taken too. Oh wait, no, there's one more. Okay, if we get this other sword, we'll be in okay shape. That way we could build maybe like a Giant Slayer later on and hopefully use that to kind of beef her up. All right, it is 4-5. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Let's level up and roll down. We're surely going to hit the Zed too, right? All right. You could keep Mordekaiser. He's good to get Laser Core in sometimes. Don't need any of these guys. None of them say Duelist. I guess we get the Hackers. Okay, there's Vayne. Vayne 2 would be good enough too. Okay, there's the Zed. Perfect, perfect. I normally don't ask for anything more than 1 Zed. 2 is... going for Zed 2 is being a little too greedy. We drop the thing on our Sedge. We have the 8 Duelists in. Let's look at the power now. Are we going to be able to wipe teams? I forgot we even were running Renekton for this long. Okay, Gangplank is all our items. It's so awkward. We need a new Gangplank pretty badly, but yeah, just doesn't show up yet. Are we able to beat this Jax? Holy cow, dude. It's a pretty close fight. Like, obviously I think we lose, but I think this guy's like a lot stronger than us, right? He has evasion as well, I believe. So, wait, did he have evasion? I couldn't tell. Yeah, evasion. So that directly counters our comp, and we got a very good loss against it. So that's pretty nice there. We have the Urgot in. Let's just drop the Gangplank and the Duelist. We'll go down to 6. We really just need these items on our Zed, because it's like a grief to not have them there. Hand of Justice for sure goes on Zed. Same with the Edge of Night. Deathblade could go on Vayne, though, because Vayne needs some love as well. Just a note, we probably could have rolled a little more on 4-5. It's not mandatory, but since we didn't have the Zed pair, I decided not to. And we'll just play this random Urgot. Hopefully it gets us maybe some items and stuff, because we're itemizing a lot of people right now, so we want them all to have 3 items. They all have 2 right now. So getting a bunch of free items would be a huge power spike for our team, but it doesn't look like it's happening. So this guy is also playing Jax, but he doesn't have evasion, so we're able to make quick work of him. So that's pretty good. He also has like worse than slot items, but he's got 6 Jaxes, so even if he hits Jax 3, he'll be not that scary to deal with. All right, so for the items, we get a Negatron, and from this item anvil, no damage items. I guess you could go Warmogs plus Bloodthirster on Zed. It doesn't sound horrible. Would have really liked a Runons here or something, but it's just not in the card sometimes. This guy has Zed too. Scouting around is a little rough. I'm trying to see if we need the Negatron or the Dragon Claws. So there's a couple bit of magic damage, so we could just go ahead and do that. Someone needs to hold the Zeeks. I opt to put it on Zed, but maybe I should have put it on maybe Urgot or something like that. I don't like running Zeeks in Duelist comps because positioning matters a lot, and Zeke slows you down if people scout you. So if you can, I try to avoid building the item. Also, like, you already get so much attack speed that the attack speed from Zeke's doesn't really do much either. But, like, I don't want to build double healing item on Zed either because he gets healing from Hacker. He has healing from Handed Justice already. So building a Bloodthirster on him is also a waste. So we just got, like, item screwed here. So you guys can blame Mortdog for me. I probably already did my fair share of blaming him as the game was happening. So maybe we hit the Vayne 3. We'll roll down now. We definitely need Zed too. LeBlanc is generally better than Zoe, but it really doesn't matter. Just use whoever you 2-star first. Maybe we get Urgot too as well. Okay, do we need the Echo? I really don't like running Echo in this build. In the old Zed build, I loved Echo, but in the new one, you don't really need it. Do we get Zed too? Ooh, very nice, very nice. Scuffed items, but you know what? A Zed 2 is a Zed 2. We'll sell these Leonas. I think Urgot just greeting for items would be just the only thing we're really splashing in right now. Maybe like Fiddlesticks I'd replace the Urgot with, just because Fiddlesticks AoE is just so god dang strong. But look at the Zed. If you were to ask me like how this Zed with these items would do, like you'd probably predict not so well, you know? And we faced the guy with the like Toma traits with the Z2 that he hit before us. So that's a good revenge kill right there. We'll roll a little bit. I kind of want to like test the waters with the Vayne, because leveling up to 9, maybe we should have leveled up to 9. Nah, yeah. Rolling here I think is a mistake. I'm fishing for Vaynes right now. I'm just like looking around, seeing how many are taken, and like if I hit a bunch of Vaynes magically, then I'd roll all the way down. But I feel like I should not have done that. I think just saving the gold, because like the only other upgrade I'm looking for is Urgot 2 or adding in a Fiddlesticks instead of Urgot. It's just a long shot. It could happen, but I feel like I should just save my gold here and maybe just go level 9 to get like a minor power spike. We're facing a Sona 3 right now. This guy just hit, but all the healing from our Zed is able to wipe him out, so we knock him out. Guaranteed top 6 after we kill him. So pretty standard game so far, even though we don't have Lockets. So on this carousel, maybe like a QSS would be pretty good. We wanted maybe like we need like a real attack damage item. Duelists have so much attack speed that you just want attack damage, but I guess QSS allows you to stack up Duelist stacks. Also, like another reason why I probably didn't go 9 here is because like really the win condition is going to be Vayne 3. Like running a random legendary at level 9, while it is strong, it's not going to like win me the game, you know? It might help me get a 2nd place instead of a 3rd place, but if I really want to get first, it's really just the Vayne 3. And her items are okay, you know? They're pretty solid. Deathblade QSS, Edge of Night, I've seen much worse, you know? If she's 3-starred, I think she could actually do some damage. Ideally, you'd want like a Giant Slayer, of course, but we don't live in such a world. Man, that Zoe actually destroyed us there. Let's roll down here. We see the Sedge. Not much here. Okay, nice. I guess we could have hit Sedge before. Maybe that's why it's good to roll at this level. I'll be honest, before we did those rolls from a couple rounds ago, I kind of just assumed we already had Sedge too. I didn't actually look at my board, but yeah, since she has 3 items, getting her to 2 stars is pretty important actually. So yeah, no time to go to level 9 this game. This guy's Kaisa 3, so he just beats us automatically. Very good items on him. Static Shiv, double Giant Slayer. That might be best in slot Kaisa. I think Rageblade's a little overrated on her. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just I feel like it's a little overrated. Giant Slayer is by far just like insane on her. And Static Shiv is her best first item. I don't even know what we want on this item thing. Obviously Giant Slayer is good, but all our carries are already full items, so I get the Sunfire cape, but I think that might be a mistake. Honestly, maybe Quicksilver on the Nyla would have been the best thing to get, or get an item for Urgot. The reason why Quicksilver on Nyla is good is because it just guarantees she gets her heal off, so she doesn't get CC'd while she's doing that. I also could have picked Giant Slayer and then eventually replaced my Zed with a new Zed, and that could have been a possible thing to do as well. But as you guys can see already, the comp's starting to fall off, but like you see this Jax and you're like, yeah, he's probably going to do some serious damage, and there's not much you can do about it whenever you're playing this build, which it's a blessing and a curse, you know, because there are a lot of games where you play Jax and you just don't hit him, you're hard suck Jax 2 or something like that, or maybe not the best items, and you really get punished and you go bot 4 really easily. But with Zed, you could have good items, you could have great items, you're just still going to top 4 no matter what, or almost no matter what. We're going to keep donkey rolling, just praying for like, maybe there are 5 Vaynes in our shop. It's not happening. I do want to replace the Zed, but we just don't get the... We don't have enough items to put on him yet, but we'll just play 2 Zeds for now, and then maybe we get more items on him off the carousel. Also, not having Giant Slayer against the Bruiser team really hurts us. We might have been able to beat him if we had 1 Giant Slayer, either on Zed or on Vayne. Are we able to deal with the Zoe? If we had better items, that Zoe would have disappeared right away, but instead we get sniped by this Soraka, so our Zed dies, and I don't think this Vayne 2 is enough to finish this off. It's close, though. She did a valiant effort there, but we're at 1 life. The other guy gets knocked out. That's a top 3. That's not bad, all things considered, this game. Like, again, would you guys look at this game and be like, yeah, you like turbo high rolled or something like that? Should I have done a lot better than a third place? It's kind of just like the nature of Duelists. Like, I'm sure there are mistakes. I'm not saying I played perfectly, but like, I'd never play perfectly. No one ever plays perfectly, right? But you just look at the game and you're just like, yeah, like, this comp just falls off, but that's perfectly fine. Again, this comp is for people who wants consistent top fours and just rinse, repeat, play it like 10 games, you get 100 LP or something like that, or maybe 200 if you get third instead of fourth. The game so far, I think we went third in the first one and third again in this one. I'll show some first place though in the next game. So in the next game, we'll show weird ways to do it without even getting Vayne 3. Obviously, Vayne 3 is preferred, but sometimes you just win streak like how we did here. But when you're win streaking, you actually are able to save up your gold, go level 9, or hit the high legendaries, and you could do some fun stuff there. This next game was a little weird. We start off with a chain, so that's great, right? That's exactly what we wanted. We have the Kale. We get a bow drop and some gold there. Make 10. Wow, what a perfect start to a perfect day. Another Kale. We need a couple more duelists, but, you know, everything's going smoothly so far. Let's check out the augments. Admin. Didn't check admin yet, so can't really do that. Heart. We don't have any tiers, so it's clearly a Knife's Edge and just force duelists again. I do a quick scout here, but like we have the chain already, we have a bow already, like what more could we ask for? Even if we're like double contested, I still think it's probably right to take the Knife's Edge here. We do end up taking Knife's Edge, now we have to fit in a team. So we have Brawlers there, we could fit in Defender as well if we level up by this Wukong dropping in. I think that's what we're about to do. You don't really need the Malphite, or you play double Kale. I should be using the Knife's Edge though. Please move up, move up. Oh no. I forget about the Knife's Edge. That's a big no-no right there. I think I probably just ran out of time. Maybe I did just forget. We are focusing their tanks right now. I dropped the bow on one of the Kales. It looks like a loss. He has a 2-star Ashe. Hard to win there, but it's okay. As long as we kill this guy, we save a bit of HP. We do not. So we're at 94. Not the best of starts anymore, but again, once we get this Locket, we're going to stabilize so hard. This next shop, we get a Fiora and Annie. Probably going to play around with those a bit. Oh, and Nyla. Ha. I'm actually blind. Nyla is the best unit there. So we can play Brawler with Nyla and Kale. We sell units up to 10 gold because they don't have Duelists in their name. And then we're facing a guy who's level 3 with Featherweights. We should win this one. I really should be moving my Kale up as well to get the benefit of the Knife's Edge, but it's okay. Eventually I'll do it, right? Drop the chain on Nyla, I think, because she's the only one that's going to hold it. And we get a nice win here. This next shop is pretty juicy. We get a Fiora and Gangplank. That's the 4 duelist wet dream that we always dream about. And now the game kind of plays itself. We faced the AFK guy here, so that's really nice. Should be a free win. He does have the Cho'Gath, so it's like a tiny bit stronger than this board normally would be. But yeah, AFK is probably one of my favorite augments, but I use it mainly when I go stuff like Recon or do some sort of reroll comp, and he actually kills a lot of units here. Not too bad. I guess he only killed 1 unit, but the fight was closer than it should have been. Got a pop quiz for you guys. What would you guys take on this carousel? For me, it's the Rod, because that's the Locket. Now in this shop, it's a little weird. Nothing too obvious to take. I'm going to frontline the Kale to get Locket value, but we're going to probably go with this Rammus. Rammus is probably like one of the best early game units in stage 2. He's just solid at all stages, honestly. Rammus is kind of like black pepper. He's good to splash into any meal, you know? I guess Cho'Gath could be like salt. You kind of need both of them, or not need. You kind of want both of them in every comp, because you could just put them in whenever, and then like when you don't need the spiciness or whatever, just take out Rammus. Okay, that was probably my worst analogy of the year so far. I apologize for that. I feel like normally my analogies are a lot better. But all right, so we're doing a quick scout because we're 3-game winner right now. This guy's going Jax, so I'm checking for if other people are going Duelists. I'm checking to see who I'm facing as well to see if their boards are strong. And then it doesn't really seem like too much. There are a couple of Rage Blades, a couple of AP players. So it seems like we're going to be uncontested Duelists right here, which is really, really good news for us because that means we could probably go for Zed 2, maybe even get that coveted Vayne 3 that we've been looking for and talking about this whole video. We have the Locket. This guy's got 2 2-stars, though. I don't think Locket's enough to beat that. Wow. Did not get the Nyla heal on our Kale, so yeah, we probably lose this round. Wait, is 4 Duelists this strong? Surely not. Surely Nyla does not heal our entire team like 3 times as well. I actually don't remember. Okay, it looks like we're winning now. Holy cow. Guys, this is the power of Nyla. This is the power of Duelists. Look at 2,600 healing. She's 1 star. We beat Reld 2, Blitzcranked. If that isn't enough to prove how stupid this comp is at the beginning of the game, nothing else will prove it to you. Off the neutral rounds, we get a belt, Negatron. Okay, so we could build Runons, not the worst thing ever. And oh my god, I hate this item in this build. Whenever I play Yuumi, I can't get tiers. Whenever I don't play Yuumi, I get too many tiers. That's how life kind of works. So we get the Fiora too. At least we get that. Do we want to level up here? We're on a 4-game winner, so we could consider doing it. This is when it's important to scout the other guy. I think I was so tilted by the items that I'd neither scouted nor even considered leveling up, when I really should have at least considered it, you know? If the other guy's like super strong, the guy win streaking at 100 health, then yeah, don't level up. But if you can contest him, definitely do it, because you just make the gold back so quickly. But I just saw the replay and I was just like staring at my items the whole time, and I think I was just probably like typing to someone like, oh my god, can't believe my items are like this again. I only get tiers whenever I play this comp. So this is where it gets interesting. First aid kit should be good whenever you run Lockets and Nyla healing, but Phony Frontline's really solid as well, as we saw before. This one's actually a tough decision. I'd lean more towards the Phony Frontline. Maybe if you had double Locket already. We also have Redemption. We have a lot of healing, actually. But Phony Frontline's just way too good. It's just free Locket value, right? We'll drop in the extra Kale because she benefits from the 4 Duelist trait. And then we're facing off against the Featherweights. Malphite 2, Gangplank 2, Renekton 2. He's got 3 items. Holy cow. He's looking pretty strong. But look at this Nyla. Anyone seeing this? That is wrong, right? That shouldn't be allowed. So we smash him. He is level 5, so I guess we should win most of the fights, but he took a 5-unit loss, which is a lot of HP. We're facing the previously AFK guy now. He's not that strong, though. He does have an Annie too, but we should make easy work of this person. So we're going to be on like a turbo streak. We only lost the first round of the game, but you guys can see the power of 4 Duelists already. We also decided not to roll down on 3-2. You could do it. I normally do it whenever I'm low health, but if I'm high health, I like doing the level 7 roll down. It kind of guarantees me a better mid to late game. On this carousel, I guess we could go for like Chain Vest or another damage item. I opt to go for the Chain here because we need to build at least 2 Lockets. And as we do our roll down, we're just clicking Duelist units, so I'm going to explain the thought process on the Redemption. Tier is so useless. Belt is also not that great. So even though Redemption isn't the best in a comp with a lot of shielding, just getting value, even if it's a tiny bit of value from an item, is well worth the price of admission, you know? So whenever you're playing Duelist, just always slam items, slam as many as you can, as often as you can. And where's my 6 Duelists? Am I missing? I'm missing Yasuo and Zed, both the, what are they called? The laser core ones. We're going to save this Locket. I could slam it on the Nyla. I wouldn't be disappointed if I did that. Or slam it on the Rammus, because we're probably selling Rammus anyways. I wish we could pick up this second Rammus, though. I'll be honest, I don't know how important he is in the mid game, because as soon as we get Yasuo, we're probably going to sell him. But this guy's got the Ludens. Again, quick work of him here. We get a 4-unit win. Oh, 3-unit. Almost a 5-unit, though, because Lux targeting is weird sometimes. We get immediately punished for not holding the other Rammus, but I want to tell you guys more about something we haven't talked about yet, which is player damage. They increase player damage quite a bit, and it means sometimes people die before stage 5 even starts, which is pretty rare before. But now it happens like all the time. Sometimes even like 2 people are dying. But the great thing about the Duelist comp is that it really punishes those people who haven't adapted to the new meta, because you guys see these wins. They're like by 5 units, you know, sometimes 6. And like the guy had to get lucky to get a 3-unit loss against us the other time. And we don't even have 6 Duelists. Imagine if we had 6 Duelists, because sometimes when we roll down on stage 3-2, we get that. Or we have like Duelist Crown or Duelist Crest or Emblem. We don't even have that many good 2-stars on our board right now. It just shows the power of this composition and how it like really punishes people who play greedy. And since there are a lot of rerollers right now, it's really good at punishing the rerollers who don't hit. So items are a little awkward right now. We have 2 chains and a glove. We also have to pay attention to the augment round next turn. So maybe we could have benched Rammus so that we don't get one of those threat augments and guarantee a duelist augment. So we could have done a little augment manipulation there, but that's okay. Like, I should have done it, but it might be hard to do because there's so much random stuff in my shop. I'd have to play no synergy, and that would have made us weaker and potentially make us lose our win streak, which getting a lot of gold is pretty good, especially if we want to do like a fast 8 or fast 9 and just like settle with the top 3. On this, we get Think Fast, Lucky Gloves, and New Recruit. All right, so you could Think Fast, get the Vayne 3 if you're really good at that, at rolling. That's probably the best thing to take here. I'm a little bit of a boomer, and I wasn't prepared for Think Fast. One of my tips on my 100 tips and tricks video is to always be ready for Think Fast on every single round. But Lucky Gloves here because we took too long. And since we have another glove on our bench, it's the perfect time to take it because it just gives, look at these items. Double tank item Rammus, like what more could we ask for? Especially whenever I spurg out about the Thieves Glove Zed recently, like it's just so much, it's such a good augment for this build. I do level up here because we could stay above 30 gold. That's generally like my leveling rule. If you could stay above 30 gold, you generally just level up. And I won't link the guide here because this is the Masters video, and by the time you are in Masters or like Diamond trying to get to Masters, you typically already know the leveling pattern, but feel free to review that video if you guys so choose. And yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 unit win. That's 11 damage plus the round damage, which I believe is 4 damage in this round. So we're essentially just dealing like 15 a turn to people. There's a Nyla there. We'll definitely pick that up. Another Vayne. We'll just play the extra Vayne. You know, a lot of people, they're scared of playing duplicate units, but I don't really mind it because you still get the benefit of the trait. Vayne's still getting the 4 duelist buff. And even though we'd rather have like other synergies, maybe like Recon or something or Oxforce, like the Recon or Oxforce unit isn't going to benefit from the duelist trait. And since we're relatively deep in it already, we still get a ton of power. All right, this is probably when the win streak ends. This guy's double featherweights. If they remove double built different, they should remove double of the other augments, right? It feels a little too strong, but he also hit all his units. So yeah, of course our streak's going to end there. We have double chain and glove on our bench, so we'd like the extra glove to build a second Thieves Glove. If not, we'd want another Locket. If not, we take the bow that's sitting right there. We managed to get the glove, which is absolutely insane. It's like last game when we were win streaking. We want to do like a level 8 roll down right now, hopefully get the Zed, but we end up getting 2 Urgots. We get a Syndra, we get 2 Syndras. I skipped the Yasuo by accident. Don't ask me why. That would have been my 6th duelist, I think. Double Mordekaiser, holy cow. Let's sell these Belveths. There's a Syndra too. So Syndra doesn't belong in this comp at all, but like, why not run it? You know, it's a legendary 2-star. I have Thieves Gloves or Lucky Gloves, and it's just really good. I should have checked the weather. I don't remember what it was, to be honest. And I should play double Urgot over this other Rammus. So I should have 2 Urgots in right now. I also should have Thieves Gloved my Syndra, not the Urgot, because she's 2-star legendary. Why would you not put items on your 2-star legendary? My thought process in the game probably was something like, oh, Syndra's not very item reliant, because sometimes you get like Rabadon's Death Cap or something on her from the Thieves Gloves, and that's just not very good for her because, yeah, she does benefit a little bit from AP, but you really just want mana items on her, and Lucky Gloves does not account for that. So we finally hit a Zed. Somehow we hit a Syndra too before we hit a Zed for our 6th duelist. All right, let's sell this Rammus, put the TG probably on Zed, and yeah, that's exactly what we wanted before, right? Wow, I put it on Syndra, really? Maybe the play is to sell the Urgot, put Urgot's Thieves Glove on Syndra, and then put the new one on Zed, because I mean, I'm running 6 duelists, no item Zed, when I could have gave him 2 very good items from the Lucky Gloves. It seems kind of wrong. Oh, we get another glove from Urgot. Insane. I guess he's paying for himself. He's like, you know what? I'm going to show you that you're wrong because I'm going to get you a lot of loot for no reason. Holy... How does Urgot give me 2 items this round? I've had games where I get Urgot 2 in stage 4, like how I just got Syndra 2 here, and then I play him until stage 6, and then I get no items from him the entire time. But then this Urgot just gives me 2 items in like the 2nd round I play him. So we get another chain, we get a little bit of gold, there's some veins. We probably don't need the Zoes. So since we have the legendary 2-stars already, we just don't need Zoe at all. What items can we build here? Locket? Yeah, sure, Locket. Locket, Last Whisper, Bramble, Locket, Titans. plus Shroud, all good. We could also greed and save the glove in case Urgot gets us another thing. We hit the Urgot 2 here, so this is exactly what I mean. We're looking for Zed, but we're hitting other stuff. You should always hold on to that other stuff because sometimes you just hit, and then those games where you don't actually keep those items, it's like you're not going to get these massive high roll games that other people get. Whereas this game, we are able to get it. So you always should hold on to stuff, even if it doesn't seem like that intuitive or fit in your comp. Because at the end of the day, a Syndra 2 is a Syndra 2. She's going to be pulling in a lot of units, and she's really good in this meta. Like, what does Jax do? Jax is single target. He's probably still going to win because he's a 3-star Jax at 5-1, which is very good, right? But Syndra, she brings in a new unit for the Jax to waste time on. So if you ever pull in like a Zac, which has 3 different targets because he spawns out into 2 different things, it's a really good counter to Jax and Yuumi because it just makes him waste a lot of time. Unfortunately, this guy's just so strong right now that it doesn't matter, but eventually, hopefully, we can outscale. Great items on both Urgot and Syndra. By the way, I'm making a mistake here. Urgot should not be frontline. He should be in the second row. At this point, we don't even need the Zed 2. Obviously, he still helps because we're still running 6 duelists at the end of the day, but you could pivot into other stuff. Maybe... What can you do with the Lockets, though? Like, no other comp benefits from Lockets that much, actually. So I guess we could just keep this. Like, I'm sure the other guys are still carrying in terms of doing damage because, like, 6 duelists still does a lot. Like Syndra doesn't actually do that much damage. She just provides utility. Urgot's mainly just for farming items and CC. So let's check the damage actually. Oh, never mind. Urgot's completely dominating. It's probably just due to the lucky gloves because Runon's is Urgot's best item by far. If you were to itemize him. I don't really like itemizing Urgot, but hey, if I have him 2-star, then I will. One thing you should also always do is try to place Urgot in front of the enemy units as much as you can because he kind of works like how Shroud of Stillness does. He just hits people in front of him, and you see in this match, I only hit 1 unit, so I'm not going to get that much loot there or much CC. So that was definitely like kind of a waste of him. Do we actually lose this one? Syndra, come on, nice. She barely lived there. Holy cow. What do we want on this carousel here? Probably like a Zed item, a Vayne item. Hell, maybe we could even plan around getting a Fiddlesticks item. Or maybe Hacker trait. It's probably Hacker. Well, they don't really give us much choice here. You know what? That's actually really good because it saves us a item slot or a unit slot. So we could just play... I think I need to shield... or Locket, Fiora, 2 target dummies, and Gangplank, maybe Yasuo as well, and then just put Urgot and Zed in the second row in Vayne. We end up facing a Ghost here. He's doing the Raka, Brawler, Jax comp, but he's only 2-star Jax, so we have to be careful of the 3-star Jax. I think we're actually strong enough to beat him now. Now that we have 2-star Syndra and Urgot, maybe we need Zed too. Maybe we need a Giant Slayer, but I forgot when we actually face him again. We get some good items there. A tier. Pretty much any item's going to be a good item. Even though I complain about tiers a lot, this is the one time where I'll... where I won't. When I get it from... What's his name? Also, always buy new units for Syndra to throw in and try to maximize the amount of CC you can fit. So we wanted Sejuani there, and she could potentially pull in Vayne and Sedge, so we should have bought the Zac a little earlier. That way she doesn't pull in the Vayne. We face the same Jax guy again. Oh, probably. Oh, everyone's knocked out already. We're already top 4. I didn't even realize that. This is with Zed 1, by the way. Of course, obviously, we have Syndra 2, Urgot 2, but you guys know, like, they don't fit in the comp at all. Show me one other Duelist game that someone else has played with Syndra and Urgot. It just doesn't happen. But sometimes you just gotta make the most out of what you're given. So it's like some of us are born smart, some of us are born attractive, some of us have it all, obviously, but like... Some people have nothing also. So you always have to play towards like what you get dealt, you know? Same as with life and in TFT. Off-topic question. Would you guys rather be smart, rich, or attractive if you could only pick one? I don't know. Let's say you're like mediocre in the other 2 categories. So the item we want here is definitely probably a Zed item, but Vayne could also use something. IE is a great 3rd item. Remember how I complained in the first Vayne game that like, oh, I don't like building IE first because it's a multiplier, but now that we have it, we have 2 other items on our Zed. It's a pretty good pick. But we're going to do a quick roll down as much as we can because we're 21 life. That's not that high. We need to hit good stuff for Syndra to pull in. We need to hit Zed too. Okay, we get Echo too. Is that good enough? Yeah, probably drop some Duelists because we only have Zed 1. Only play around Duelists if you actually have them 2-starred. If we had 2-star Zed, I'd keep 6 Duelists, but we just don't in this game. Who gets these items? Probably Vow on Sedge. Yeah, and then screw it, just slam the Gargoyle Stone Plate. So Vow is probably Sejuani's best item. And look at this on Syndra. The items on her, Hat, Jeweled Gauntlet. Like, why does she get Jeweled Gauntlet? It doesn't make any sense. She also got Zephyr, but that's not her fault, you know? Oh my god, that is the drop of the ages. Dude, the Urgussi hits a little different sometimes, you know? I swear to you, I had a game today. I had Urgot 2, like the same exact situation I described before in like stage 4. Stage up till or like through stage 6, I did not get a single item component. It probably all dropped in this game. So we get a second Syndra 2 apparently. Again, I'm just clicking the yellow units in my shop. I'm not really going for them, you know, but like if they're giving it to me, they're giving it to me. Obviously, if I had 2 Fiddles, 2 stars, I would take that over the 2 Syndras. But you know, sometimes you get the Syndras. So you may have noticed we're rolling really aggressively, and that means we couldn't keep the extra Urgot on our bench for Syndra to throw in. Bit of a mistake, but I'm just really wanting this Zed 2-star because it's such a big damage boost. Like, holy cow, just not having it is just hurts a lot. Yeah. So once we throw in the last unit, we buy new units in our shop just in case our Syndra casts again, and we just have a lot of extra stuff to play around with right now. We finally get the Zed, stage 6-3. Pretty late on the Zed. You know, some people get it in their 4-1 rolldowns, but have I ever gotten it in any of these games? I'm pretty sure I only got 2-star Zed in stage 4, maybe like 2 weeks ago. But recently, this past week, as soon as I started doing the Lockets, I'm lucky if I get him 1-star in stage 4. But all right, you know, it is what it is. He's going to probably go ham now. He doesn't have Edge of Night, so he might just die actually, but we're in a 1v1 duel. Wait, someone else knocked out the Jax 3 guy. I wish we faced the Jax 3 guy. I wanted to see how our comp would do against him. Probably pretty well because we have double Syndra 2-star now. And that's like the direct counter to any Jax player and Yuumi player. It's like the Syndra's a hidden tech. Not really hidden, but very good against any single target comp. All right, Edge of Night is there. There's a Thieves Glove there. This guy just FFs. Holy cow. Yeah, sometimes you can win with Duelists, you know? It won't be with Duelists, but I had them in there. If you thought this game was weird, wait till you see the next game because the Carousels are absolutely bonkers. Look at this nonsense. The famous all spatula start. Lucky for us, Duelist is pretty good whenever you get this. You will be contested, but that's okay as we saw in previous examples. I'm not going to say I hard forced it this game, but I definitely leaned into it a lot at the start here. We end up getting a glove, we get the GP2. You could build it with the item on him because if we put a bow on him, it pops off. One little trick, just in case you don't want to mess up too many things, is to buy the GP after the round starts. That way more units stay on your bench in case you want to sell stuff to make interest. Alright, augments kind of screw us over a little bit. Boxing lessons is good, but you know how I said I wasn't directly hard forcing Duelists this game? I may have lied a little bit. I wanted to hard force Duelists this game. So we get the Kale. You know, to be fair, we could have gotten Yasuo or Fiora augments as well. All of them would have done fine. We go for the Kale. Honestly, this one isn't even that great. I'd much rather have the Yasuo attack speed one. Yasuo carry one would be good. The Fiora support one that we got before, obviously great too. But we get a decent start here. We get an okay start. We're going to level up, play this extra Wukong, and yeah, just chill like this. Because Kale's augment gives extra range, I definitely want to give it to GP. It also gives attack speed, but it's whoever's closest to her. You don't have to be adjacent to her. So Wukong, I believe, is the one that got the second part of the buff. But we end up killing a couple people here. It's pretty good augment for saving HP. Not the best for like turbo streaking with or anything. There are definitely better ones for that. Like Poppy augments are really good effects in the early game, but she kind of sucks as a unit. Kale is a bit of a better unit, but maybe a bit worse on the augments in the beginning at least. Like obviously she becomes more useful later on because the range can be used on Zed, but we do get the Kale 2-star here. That's a really good start for us. If you are the type of person to complain a lot, you could complain that we don't have the Dream 4 Duelist start because it is really, really, really that strong. And here we are facing a Poppy augment. Look at how much damage the Poppy did. This guy has the one that gives Poppy 200 armor, and she does bonus damage on her ability based on her armor. That's why our Kale is so low, and she just gets 2-tapped. So we by default lose this one here, so no turbo win streak. I don't think there's anything we could do to kill this guy, even if we had 4 Duelists, because she 200 armor when I'm physical damage. We're never going through that. In this next shop, we get a Yasuo, so that's pretty good, but we don't have 4 yet, so we just have to wait a little bit. Also, you may have noticed that we are not able to make interest unless we sell Vi and both the Blitzcrank. So if we end up losing this round, maybe we do a pre-level. If we win, we could sell and make interest, but it's not looking too bright, yeah. So we probably just have to pre-level and just like call it a day after that. Do I end up pre-leveling? If I don't, I think I should, because I already have 2-star Kale and 2-star Gangplank. Those are both the 1-cost units, and look at this garbage. So whenever you get a spatula carousel, if there's just a spat on the second carousel, doesn't that guy just automatically win? Like, holy cow. Like, how's that a thing? Like, that's what I mean by how this game is a bit crazy, because these carousels are just so silly. All right, we're going to sell to make 10, drop in the Yasuo. We still don't have 4 Duelists, but we do get the Locket, and we'll just Locket everyone in the back. We have to be a little careful because Kale's ability works on the 2 closest allies, and one of them is going to be Poppy, but we kind of want Poppy to tank, so it's a little awkward. Maybe I should have put the Locket on Gangplank or something, but I'm keeping Gangplank, so I don't want to have to sell him earlier than I want to. But yeah, it's a little awkward when our Poppy's tanking, but luckily we get the win there. We get immediately rewarded because our queen has arrived. Nyla is here to come play, and we also get a blitz too, so we could drop this Poppy and put the Locket on Nyla. Though, do we even want that? Because we don't want Nyla to be out of range of the heal. So maybe we just keep this Poppy in right now. I don't really know. I end up selling everything and then putting it on Wukong so I can make 20 gold. We're not on a win streak, so we didn't need to win this round. Is guaranteeing the 20 gold the best play, and also having like a better item holder for it because Wukong can kind of use it better, and I don't want it on Nyla yet? I'm actually not 100% sure, so feel free, timestamp this, and then let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and we could discuss this a little bit there. Or maybe head on over to the Discord, discord.gg/BunnyMuffins, and maybe we could discuss there too, or discuss with other viewers too. We get some amazing shops here. We get both Vayne and I guess GP isn't that great. We already have him, but we'll just leave the 2 range units in the back, melees in the front, and we'll kill the Krugs here. We get a bow and a Negatron, so I'm just immediately going to make this Duelist spat. And we're forcing, you know. I don't care if we're contested. I saw some people with Yasuo augment. I don't care because I know how to play the comp. I'm pretty confident in my ability, even if I'm being contested. And yeah, they can either deal with it or like complain about it in all chat. So yeah, we want to play 6 Duelists here. We can't level up yet, so we're probably just going to do it next turn. We're not on a streak, so I'm not going to level up either. Remember, we faced some people the other time, and they leveled up without a win streak. I'm not going to be that player, you know? It's like, I just think it's bad play, so I'm not going to do it as well, even though I really want to put in the 6 Duelists. And if we happen to lose this round because we didn't level up early, so be it, you know? We're not on a streak anyways, so I just really don't care. So we win anyways, so that's good. This guy's level 5. He's got a Sejuani for some reason, but we're able to kind of knock him out still. So here's a little weird situation. Do we want to risk getting more Duelist crowns or Duelist spatulas, or do you take Cursed Crown? I don't like Cursed Crown on stage 3-2. I only like it on stage 2-1. So I opt to just go for New Recruit. We already used our reroll, so that's part of the risk of rerolling, right? But we are able to play 7 Duelists right now, which is very, very powerful. I'm going to drop Ezreal in, put the Duelist spatula on him. He's a recon, so he'll jump to the back after he gets damaged a bit by the Locket. We sell all the non-Duelist units to get up to 40 gold. And then we're facing this Asol guy. He's got blue buff. Holy cow. I love blue buff on Asol because the earlier he applies his burn, obviously the better it's going to be. So yeah, like getting him his first cast really early, really beneficial. I think a lot of people build Shojin on him, which is a perfectly fine item, but don't underestimate blue buff on him. Because just getting that earlier cast just means, like, I mean, more value from the burn, right? That's what you want at the end of the day. We get a nice win there. Our next shop has a Vayne. We'll just keep them like this. We can't really fit 8 Duelists in yet. We need Zed to do that, but, like, I mean, when do we not want Zed? You know, like, we're playing Duelists. We always want him. This guy's got double Ionic. He's got preparation. He probably has to... This is where the Poppy kind of falls off a little bit because his shield... Not as important in the mid game, Obviously, in the late game, it's pretty useless, but early game, 325 shield, or sorry, 200 armor, very, very strong. By the way, look at this carousel again. Another spatula drop. Ridiculous. We ended up going for the glove to go for Thieves' Gloves, but like, holy cow, how many spatula drops are going to happen in this game on a spatula map? I pretty much lost my mind at this point when I was looking at the game, but we're going to level up here, go to 30. That's generally the rule, right? We'll play Rammus. We'll probably Thieves' Gloves Rammus. He's going to be a pretty solid item holder. Don't really need to roll because we're 90 health. And who are we facing? We're facing a guy with Earth Grab back. Oh my god. So many spatulas this game. Like, what is this? Sometimes this happens, you know, your opponents get pretty lucky. This is like the one game you don't want to win streak in because you miss out on all the spatulas on Carousel, and it's just a sad time. But you know what? We persevere. We'll deal with it, and we'll just work around what we're given. The shop we had wasn't that interesting. We did find a Nyla, so we have 2 pairs right now, Nyla and Vayne pair. Normally when I have like 3 or more pairs, I like to roll a little bit, especially if I'm like medium health, if I was like, let's say 70. But since we're high health and we only have 2 pairs, we're going to hold off a bit on rolling. This Camille is a little scary, but I think our Vayne Ezreal combo is enough, and our tank line's too tanky for this Camille to deal with. So I think we win here. So we just get to full streak. We lost the first round, I believe, of the game, and then we just... Actually, no, we didn't. We lost 2 rounds in stage 2. So we're on a 7-game winner. Okay, that's not bad. But we won a lot of rounds, right? So we're in a pretty comfy spot. Now, I don't want to hear anything in the comments about like, oh, you only show games where you're like win streaking or whatever. Like, when you're playing Duelists, that's just what happens, you know? It's like, if you're lose streaking, you're probably not playing Duelists correctly. So that's kind of like, I just don't want to see anyone mention that in the comments. I will probably lose my mind if that happens, because sometimes on like a lot of YouTube channels, like you're Mr. 100 win streaking, because those games are kind of cool to look at, right? But in a Duelist game, like that's just what naturally happens. So it's not like, it's not up to me, you know? Also, I'm slamming early game Lockets. I slammed a Zeke's Herald here. I'm really just playing for pretty much the early game. So it's like, of course we're going to do well in the early game when I'm playing for it. Yeah, we had a belt, sword, rod, and Negatron. There isn't really too much we could build with the items there. Mortdog heard our prayers and gave us Duelist Hearts, so we didn't have to make a decision on that augment round. We go to level 8. Let's roll a little bit. We hit Zed on the first roll. Very nice. We'll TG him. So we have 9 Duelists right now. I don't think I've ever had that many. But yeah, we'll maybe throw in a Leona or something like that. It doesn't really matter. Another Fiora. We don't have Fiora 2-star yet. We could roll a little more. We have a lot of unupgraded units. We also have this Ezreal that probably has to go. Also, Zed on this little hacker thing would be very useful. I need a second every row, everyone, really quickly. Luckily, there's a lot of time on this round. But let's see who we're facing. Urgot, Acel. Oh, he's got the binary airdrop. But yeah, look at the Thieves' Gloves. You know, Zephyr's a little troll. But like Edge and Knight, that's exactly what we wanted. And look at the power of Zed with the Kale augment. He just gets the bonus RFC range, and it's absolutely nuts, right? Like, holy cow, he just has no downtime. A lot of times Zed's bad because he gets either CC'd or he has to run and chase someone. But when you have the bonus range, he just has no downtime. I do need to move him onto the Zeke's Herald, because as you guys can see here, this round he doesn't have the Kale augment, and that's because he's the same distance as LeBlanc away from the Kale, and Kale targets the 2 closest people to her. And since they were tied, he won the tiebreaker the first round, and then this round he didn't win the tiebreaker. So did that actually cost me this round? I think it did, because my units are lined up for this Yasuo who's gonna... Oh my god, that's a tornado of legends right there. And oh, it's the carousel, and look what there is. Another spatula on a 5 cost. So it's like... What is even going on this game? It's absolutely bonkers. Can someone do the math and tell me the odds on that? What item do... Okay, we have a rod, so we just take the chain, build another locket. I mean, like, locket's good, right? But I cannot believe we had 4 different carousels that had at least 1 spatula. Like, that is... I don't think that's happened to me before. It's a very low chance. But yeah, let's move the Zed back now. That way he always gets a bonus range. We'll move, like, just random units up to tank. Doesn't really matter who. We're walking into a Zephyr here, but the good thing about Duelist comp is that Zephyr can never hit your hacker unit. So hackers just have that trait innately built into it. You can't get Zephyr, so it's going to go to the next person. He didn't even hit us, even though he has future sight, so he probably should be paying a little more attention. But maybe he wants to hit our Sejuani or our Nyla, for example. But we get a nice win here. Yeah, Ezreal can't finish it off. And yeah, we're just cruising. We're in first place still. That's just what happens with Duelists. What I am scared about is this guy is underground, and he's got a pretty big cash up coming. Not really too much you could do about that. I don't know how he's that healthy with, like, I think he's on a 3 or 4 cash out at this point. I don't know how other people have not hit him for harder, because I did my job. I beat him, right? But like other people clearly have not. And that really hurts me because he's going to be really strong soon and probably knock us out. But there's this Viego guy with Camille 3. He destroys us. Like, look at this. Heist level 4. And he's this healthy, and he's beating people before he cashes out. Like, how is that even possible? At least we get a good shop here. We get a couple veins as well. And just look at this. Oh, my dear Lord. So much gold, so many orbs. Like, and he's so healthy. I only have 5 more life than him, even though he's been playing Underground, which is a greedy trait, and I've been playing Duelist, which is, like, the most aggressive trait you could possibly play. I wonder how much gold he actually got in total. Okay, meanwhile, our drops, we get like third locket. Nope, no third locket. We could build Edge of Night, but our Zed's already TG'd up, so we want to build some vein items. I guess like IE is the only possible thing to build. And then we get an extra Zed there. Do we want to roll down here? We want to hit Sejuani, Zed, Yasuo, LeBlanc. Yeah, we probably should roll here. I don't know why I'm not rolling. I guess we're 66 life. We could take one more hit. But I think we actually should roll. Here's why. The Underground guy just cashed out, so he wins the game, right? Like, we're not winning this. So there's no point in greeting. We should just try to save as much HP as possible and just bleed out and knock the other people out. So, yeah, mistake there. I definitely should have rolled here. Man, all these Yasuo players, super strong. Or is this the only one and we've just been facing him very often? I wake up now. We're at 50 health. We're going to be doing a big roll down. Pick up the fiddle just in case we want to play the fiddle. He's always my default go-to splash unit this set so far. He just does AoE, CC, and like, what more can you ask for? But we don't really hit much on the roll down. We're really looking for a Zed pair or Sejuani pair before we send it. But I think here I really should just roll down to 0 no matter what. Like, I know it sounds kind of brainless, like herder, just roll down to 0 every time, but like, Z2 is a big difference, especially with 8 Duelists. I have 8 Duelists in, and I'm not buffing up my Zed, like, or upgrading my Zed. That's crazy. And he's got the Kale Augment for extra range, so he's essentially, like, got an extra item, even though he only has TG. Like, he has a built-in RFC. Yeah, I need to invest more in him. And Sejuani buys my team a lot of time. Did Sejuani even go off this fight? I don't even know, but yeah, we take a loss here, so we're down to 44 now. That's pretty dangerous level. 38, actually. But yeah, I don't know why I took so long to roll down, but I'm finally doing it. We get a vein there. Maybe this is a game we hit vein 3 that I've been kind of teasing. Honestly, I don't remember. Okay, it looks like we do. Well, not yet. Maybe not this turn, but holy cow. It's stage 5-3. We're uncontested Zed. And we finally hit. We rolled a lot of gold, though, guys. We had a lot of passive rolls early on in, like, stage 4. And then we rolled down, what, like 60, 70 gold in stage 5? Because we rolled, like, 10 in 5-1, maybe, like, 20 in 5-2, and then, like, 50 in 5-3. So someone can do the exact math. But we rolled down a ton. And we also did not see any Sejuani. So what is going on this game? Why can't we hit? Meanwhile, the Underground guy gets a free game, right? But I guess I'm complaining too much. I'll focus more on trying to give tips and helping you guys. But yeah, sometimes when you roll down, life's not going to happen like that. But you shouldn't let that stop you from, like, doing well in your game. Because, like, again, a lot of people focus on, like, trying to get first place and stuff. Also, this 100 armor or 200 armor Poppy actually beat us because we don't have Last Whisper. But hopefully that's the only win he's going to get. You may have noticed, like, I forgot about this carousel. How insane are these carousels? I don't think there's ever been a game like this for me. Also, this is really bad because I don't need any more room in my team. So the extra unit I'm putting in is going to be like an Echo for Prankster or something like that. It really doesn't do much. Meanwhile, everyone else can get that like vertical synergy for their team in addition to like maybe a secondary synergy that's pretty decent. Like, yeah, you do not want to see that as a duelist player because it's just like a turbo high roll for most other teams. But I guess we'll play an extra vein or I don't know, man. Like, there's the echo there. Like, do I really... Yeah, prankster, yay. It's really gonna, like, the prank's actually on us because everyone else just... Like, look at this. Aphelios 2, Samira 2, Fiddle 2, Syndra 1, Urgot 1. Like, this guy's just got all the legendaries in the world, you know, and he gets to fit them all because of that thing. Like, holy cow. Yeah, those carousels get you sometimes, you know? It's... I don't know what the chances are. They're posted somewhere, but like, we lose that round? Holy cow. We hit another Sejuani here, but one point I wanted to make before I got distracted by the carousels that tilted me off the earth is that when we lost all those... Look at this. We lost 4 rounds this stage. We're still 22 life despite losing 4 rounds. And that's because when we do lose, we lose by very few units. And that's another great thing about this comp because, like, even if we lose this one, which we didn't, like, we'd still be alive despite losing 5 rounds in stage 5. Most people just die if that happens to them. And that just goes to show, like, another strength of the comp. Like, when you do lose a round, like, it's not even worried about it. We want a Vayne item here. We get, I guess, Deathblade, Titans, both are fine. It's not anything to like write home about, but probably the Deathblade. If we get her 3-star, it's going to be really good. It also multiplies the Infinity Edge pretty well. So roll down, roll down. Are we going to get the Vayne 3? The famous Vayne 3 that I've been teasing all day that is a win condition for the Duelist comp. We get Sejuani. But I guess... I guess no on the Vayne yet. Unfortunate. All right, there's this guy with Future Sight, Radiant Zephyr. So that's pretty annoying. We're facing him. Luckily, again, the hacker thing kind of stops everything, but he does get our... Oh, he didn't get Vayne. He got Fiora instead. So our Zeds, okay items, not the best. He's got the RFC. It gives attack speed, right? It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's a little redundant because he already has increased range with Kale. But look at this Vayne. She's doing pretty well with the Deathblade. We actually beat the cash out guy. He's like a lot stronger than everyone else, but like unfortunately his Fiddle cleans us up pretty well and we don't get to deal a lot of damage to him. But maybe the other guy can hit him for a bit. I don't know if he actually beats him too. But rolling down a little more. Selling everything, going down to 0. We actually get Vayne 3 this game. Wow. Okay, I'm going to sell the 1-star LeBlanc and then move the Duelist spat to Zoe. Doesn't make that much of a difference, but whatever. All right, we're facing the non-cash out guy. So this guy's running Soraka. Oh, this is the high roller guy that kind of hit us really hard with the Viego and like the Camille early. Oh, he actually assassined to the back and sniped our 3-star Vayne. We finally got her and then we get hacker Camille and then we cry because our Zed items aren't that great. So I don't think he could clean this. If Zed had real items, he'd win this. But, you know, like Thieves' Gloves is 1 item. 3 items is 3 items. Big difference. So not too much to do in the shop anymore. I guess we just look for LeBlanc and call it a day. I actually ended up selling the LeBlanc to play a random Urgot. Not sure if it's worth it. By the way, you may have noticed I did not Zeke my Zed in this fight because I was just dodging his Radiant Zephyr because I don't want my Vayne to get hit by it because I just got her to 3-star. Look at her. She's doing a lot of work right now. Look at that. Holy cow. Incredible stuff. And we're able to beat the cash out guy again. So now onto the carousel. Let's see what we can get here. Probably like some tank item, utility item would do well. Oh, it's the first normal carousel. I take the Bramble Vest here. Big mistake because you look at the other teams. They don't have any critical strike, so that was a big, stupid mistake. I should have taken probably Warmogs, because even if they have Giant Slayer, Sejuani is always going to be in range of Giant Slayer, so adding more health isn't like the worst thing ever. Rolling down, maybe we put LeBlanc in again. I don't really know, but yeah, Bramble, big mistake. Honestly, it may have it may have costed us because we faced this guy's ghost and like at least we're able to dodge his Camille this time, so Vayne can be activated a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Like the Bramble Vest just doesn't really do much because again, he just has no crit, so it's pretty useless. We're able to beat the ghost though, so that's really nice. And then does the other guy get knocked out here? I forget. It's pretty not really a close fight. So we get a second, pretty good. We have to beat the cash out guy still. I'm just rolling down here for fun. There's not really too much to get. Maybe I just happen to get a random 2-star legendary, replace the Urgot, but I wouldn't count on it. I end up hitting a 2-star LeBlanc, and since my Zed has good items here, I prefer the 3 hacker over the Urgot, since Zed pretty much has like the best items I could ask for. The only better items would be, what's it called? Edge of Night and Runons, or Edge of Night Giant Slayer, but he Zephyrs our LeBlanc, so that's very good. But our Zed's in a horrible position, so our Sejuani does go off. But again, like, yeah, with Warmogs, would she have lived that much longer there? I don't know. Zed's on the wrong target. He's on Leona. Leona's really destroying us there. And then this Vayne gets targeted by Samira. So if we put Vayne on the right-hand side, maybe we could have won. Wow, what a close game. But yeah, wild game, wacky carousels, but GG's all around. Let's move on into the next game where we don't get Zed at all. We do get a bow start, which is really nice. Double bow, actually. So right now, you're thinking Jax. Like, you're not thinking Duelists. You're thinking Jax. I'm still going to hold on to Duelists, but like really you want to hold on to Brawlers here. We get a belt. So I'm always scouting around whenever you get double bow because you want to see if other people are contesting you. But then Mortdog shows me this augment shop, and then it's like, am I really going to go Brawlers, or am I just going to take the Duelist spat with double bows? I go for the Duelist spat. So obviously this video is a Duelist video, but like, yeah. We also have like Nyla on our bench from the neutral round, so it's like, yeah, we're going Duelist. So we get the 4 Duelists. So what I want you guys to do right now is predict to me, what place do you think we get knowing that information, but also knowing our start where we have 4 Duelists. I slammed the belt onto Nyla. I think that's actually a mistake because you just want Lockets on her. The belt could do other stuff, you know? Like, should you slam RFC? I don't think so either. It's not horrible on Zed. It's okay on Vayne. Maybe I should have slammed a ZZ Rot portal. Honestly, this game's pretty tough. I didn't really know what to do with the items here, so we could discuss that again on the Discord or like somewhere in the comments. We do get the Jax. I'm going to use him as an item holder. I don't think it's worth it to do RFC Duelist Jax. It sounds good on paper, but I think the main power of Jax really comes from the Brawlers, which is not exactly what we're going for here. But maybe I should just slam the RFC to win streak. I think that would have been a valid play to do. Do we get a heal here? Our Yasuo needs to go off. Yeah, we do win this round. Randuin's Omen, pretty good item in the early game. It's one of the better Ornn items right now. Of course, it depends on the patch because they change stuff up all the time. But yeah, we're just going to buy the extra units in our shop here. And then next round, we get Kale 2. Perfect. In our next fight, let's see who we're going to face. Maybe I could drop a bow on Kale as well. I don't really know. I think I'm going to complete a bow item now and then drop the other bow on Jax. We're facing all 1-star team except for Lux, so we should win this one. He's got blue battery, no items. So yeah, Duelist, 4 Duelists just makes mincemeat of any of these boards. But again, like, you're seeing the power of the comp early game. There's just not much that can compete with it. We're going to do a pre-level. Hopefully we get some of the more expensive units. So we see a sword here, so we'll just grab that. Or the Negatron. I think I should get the... So Runons is better for early game. Giant Slayer better for late game, because Giant Slayer is pretty bad early game, obviously, because no one meets the threshold. But it's like the best item in the game, so it's hard to decide what item to actually go for here. Also, Runons is incredibly good on Zed, just because it works really well with how his ability does like a little bit of AoE. So whenever you have AoE champs, like Runons is really good. It's the same reason why Runons is really good on stuff like Samira, because she does like a little bit of AoE, so it just helps them finish other people off or weaken them. Our Yasuo got the clutches Cyclone there, but yeah. This guy's level 4, so obviously we're going to beat him. But like, if he was level 5, would it really change that much at all? Let's make 20 gold here, so we'll probably just sell the Renekton. Or we could sell Vi, put the Renekton in to guarantee it, just in case we lose. Either option would work. Actually, looking back at this, I think the best thing to do is actually play second Nyla over this Vi. Because, 1, I get the Duelist buff. 2, Nyla's heal, look at this. It's just so nuts in the early game. I mean, we faced a level 4, so it doesn't really matter. But like, had we faced someone stronger, maybe we could have used the second Nyla. I don't think I've seen a better shop than this. Like, so many shiny units, we get GP2, drop him in, and then we could look to play 6 Duelists next turn. We're on a win streak, so we'll definitely level up. Let's see the items. We get the famous tier rod when you're playing a Duelist comp. At least the rod can turn into a Locket. I honestly want to experiment with static Shiv in a Duelist comp. It can't be that bad, right? But we're going to put the 6 Duelists in. Probably Yasuo over Fiora. Fiora's tankier, but Yasuo provides CC. They kind of do the same job. Yeah, I guess it's just redemption because tier just... like, every time I play Duelist, you may have noticed this pattern. I right-click on tier to see what items it can build. And every time I'm like, is there anything good it builds for Duelist? And the answer is always just no. Like, Hand of Justice and Redemption are like barely usable. But like, I right click it anyways because I'm still in shock that I get dropped them, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? Someone please tell me. But we win this game because we leveled up, and we would have won without the level up. But the 6 Duelist power spike just to guarantee the win streak, it's just too much guaranteed gold to like not do. We get some really good augments here. Probably Intent in the Night is best. Getting an Edge of Night for your Zed is just like a guaranteed good item, and you get another copy of Vayne. The Nyla one, arguably good too, because we would have gotten a 2-star Nyla, and her effect is extremely good with Duelists because it just guarantees that your Duelists all get to stack up their stacks uninterrupted, and yeah, there's not much better than that. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to sound really chauvinistic, but you know, as a guy, someone asks you, what do you prefer in a woman? And it's one option or the other option. And it's kind of like asking that question. Not going to say it out loud, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's like, both are nice, you know? Both are very good. So that's kind of like how it is deciding between the Vayne augment and the Nyla augment. Like, they're both incredibly good. I think the best one actually is the third option, which is Nyla's augment where she duplicates an item. And when you have Locket and you get double Locket, it's hilarious because that's exactly what you want in this comp, right? These past few turns have been pretty easy because we've just been clicking all the units that say Duelist on them. Again, Yasuo versus Fiora, they're very close, you know. It's really hard for me to confirm which one is actually better than the other. But we lost a round. Guess why we lost a round? Because we faced another Duelist player. If you can't beat them, why not join them? But you know what? It's all right. Here we want to complete the Locket, so we want to chain best. Unfortunately, I don't really see one. We opt to go for a glove just because all the other options are kind of bad. Maybe we could build like a Last Whisper. We could do Edge of Night, Last Whisper, Rune on Zed. It's the best in slot Zed. If it isn't exactly best in slot, it's like super, super close. I know the Sunder effect, which reduces armor, doesn't stack because Zed reduces flat armor, Last Whisper reduces percent armor. But every time I see this combination being built, it absolutely shreds everyone. And you could look at what all the top players are building on Zed. A lot of them build Last Whisper still, despite it not stacking with Zed's ability. So it's just really, really good. Best by test is what some people call it. Sometimes people say that in chess a lot, like E4 versus D4, and then like Bobby Fischer is like, oh, it's like best by test. And yeah, it's just like sometimes even though it doesn't stack with a certain effect, it's still really, really good. And yeah, unfortunately, you guys already heard earlier in this game's commentary that we don't hit Zed this game. So even though we have best items for Zed, we don't hit him. So what are we going to do instead? Well, I guess we'll find out soon enough. We get one of the queens of the set. We get Belveth. So we're going to drop the Duelist spat on her. I made a mistake here. So if I know I'm not going to get Zed, let's say I'm a fortune teller. I would have put the Edge of Night on my Belveth, but I'm like, hey, Belveth's just holding some items. When I get Zed, I'm going to sell the GP, sell the Belveth, put all 3 items on my Zed, and call it a day from there. Look at the other person we lost to, another Duelist. So there are 2 other Duelist players this game. That's probably why I did not get Zed. I'm essentially crying about it in all chat right now because I start the game with Duelist Crest, and then like I get double contested, and then like let's take a guess to see, well, where do you guys think the other 2 Duelist players place, and where do you think I place in this game? So, all right, let's see what the loot is. Like, I'll try to ignore all the complaining that I'm doing in chat. I was just super tilted because, like, I don't even know why. Like, I mean, it's TFT. Like, stuff rubs you the wrong way all the time. But I'm rolling on 4-1 at level 7. It's a pretty good time to roll, you know, especially when you're being contested. I get Vayne, which is huge. Riven, I don't actually care about. Like, I do buy it because why do I buy it? I don't even know why I bought that Riven. That Riven's pretty useless. Let's lock it up on Nyla. Always wear protection. And we're facing off against a Kai'Sa player with Blue Battery. Blue Battery, not the best with Kai'Sa, but I guess it's not horrible. You know, if you get Kai'Sa 3, that none of the other stuff really matters. But we're able to barely squeeze out a win. Yeah, because Kai'Sa's great at finishing and running away from Duelists. And since we don't have, even like if we had Hacker, it's pretty hard to kill her. She like jumps around and stuff. So Thrill the Hunt is okay. Not the best. But we don't really want healing on our guys because we already have the shields and then Nyla heals. But if we're running Bel'Veth, if we knew we're not hitting Zed this game, like I would take Thrill the Hunt. Makeshift Armor, we have too many frontline items, can't take that. Ancient Archives, no thanks. So it's either reroll or Thrill the Hunt. And I guess Thrill isn't horrible because right now I'm like, I have 0 gold. Am I hitting Zed this game? I'm probably just running a Bel'Veth carry, which is unfortunate, you know. And Bel'Veth, like, it's not like Zed with the hacker trait, but yeah, depressing that we had to sell the Yasuo, but we finally get her to 2-star. And yeah, what are we supposed to do from this position? Do we just wait for Zed? Are we supposed to donkey roll every turn for him? We have this LeBlanc 2-star on our bench. We should probably sell her since we don't have any hackers in. It's the other Duelist player now. Scope weapons with Jubilant Veil. That sounds awesome. I want to try that one time. It makes my Sejuani pretty useless. So always remember, if you're ever facing these guys in the late game with Jubilant Veil, like don't play Sejuani or Fiddlesticks anymore. Or if you do play Fiddlesticks, put them all the way in the back line because all their CC means nothing. Next shop here, not too much to look at, so we'll skip ahead. We end up facing a Spellslinger guy. He's pretty weak. It's also a Ghost, so Ghosts are typically weaker. Bel'Veth's going to make quick work of this team, I believe. Oh, Janna's actually annoying. Great CC there, but look at this. No healing on the Bel'Veth, but with Thrill the Hunt, she gets a little bit. So that augment actually probably saved my game. I'm actually quite surprised that I took it because I don't think Thrill the Hunt is that great on Duelists. I mean, it's pretty good, right? But the healing I find is overkill because you just assume that you're going to hit Zed. But I guess this game, since I was contested, I was a little scared, so that's why I took it. But if you're not contested, I would definitely re-roll that augment and try to hit something else. What items do we want here? Maybe just another Runons. One for Vayne, one for Bel'Veth. So we drop the item on Vayne. I want to sell this Riven and like, who knows, just maybe play the Yasuo. I guess I play Annie. Annie gives me Ox Force, you know, whatever. It doesn't make that much of a difference. We're facing a Jax with Ascension and Evasion. So Evasion, dodge, 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 dodge. Very fun. It counters all attack-based comps, and that's us right now. So I'm feeling pretty sad against this guy, but look at this. Duelists are so strong that it doesn't matter that this guy dodges all our attacks, you know? Not all of them, but like a lot of them. And for some reason, we're able to defeat him, so that's very good there. Also, he has Ascension and Makeshift Armor. That's like hand-picked Brawler augments, not including like Brawler Crest or Brawler Crown, obviously, right? But if you've never tried Makeshift Armor on Brawlers yet, I highly recommend doing so. It is one of the most broken combos in the game. And then Ascension's very good for Jax because he likes fights going the distance, you know? We're facing one of the Zed players. Who wins? I guess he only has 1-star Zed, so obviously the Bel'Veth. Oh my god, she didn't win that. Man. Are Duelists that good that like even like 2-star 4 cost can't beat them? Or do we actually win this one? Okay, we do win this one. Thank God, because I was about to like tilt off the face of the earth, even though I'm not even playing this game and I'm not gonna like lose or gain LP from it. Just from watching it, it's bothering me. I just don't know why I have to play this unit, and then the other duelist players, they hit Zed, even though I rolled to 0, right? Like it's not like I didn't roll. A lot of times I don't hit things. It's like I know I didn't hit and other people are allowed to hit because I didn't roll. But maybe sometimes you greed for like level 8 and you're like, oh, I'm going to save up 50 gold for level 8 to roll down with on 4 or 5, and then like you don't hit. Sometimes like that happens, right? But this game I rolled on 7 because I knew I was contested. And I just didn't get anything anyway, so I was kind of bothered by that. QSS, probably not bad here, so you could do that on Vayne. You could also do like a Hodge or something. Maybe a Shroud. Shroud's really good with Duelists too, but maybe QSS is the best here, and then this last item doesn't matter. But we see a Zed here, not a Zed, a Yasuo. And do we level up? Yeah, I think we do, and then just roll down a little bit. Since we rolled down a ton before, we don't have that much gold here, but yeah, just QSS and then tier on just Rammus just so he casts faster. I should have rolled here. I don't know why I didn't, because even a Z1 would help me out a lot, because then I could play 8 Duelists, and then, I mean, obviously that's a pretty big power spike, right? Yeah, over Rammus and Annie, that'd be really good. And then our Bel'Veth would be even more insane. We wouldn't even be playing carry Zed, we'd just be playing it just to give the trait to our Bel'Veth so she attacks at like the speed of sound. Let's see our next shop. Not much here. I think I should be rolling. I know I'm 70 life. Maybe I just go fast 9 actually. Okay, when I was playing the game, I probably made the right decision not rolling. Like initially on 5-1, I thought I should roll, but like looking again, I'm 71 life. I have most of my upgrades, right? I might as well just wait till level 9 before I commit to stuff. Like I could just run random legendaries. It just looks like Zed's not in the cards right now, and luckily in game I recognize that. In this analysis that I'm doing, I think I was actually wrong on my first hunch, but now looking back, I think I made the correct play in game. Probably what happened was I'm scouting a lot. I know I'm not showing it, but I probably scouted a lot and saw that other people weren't like super strong until now. See, that guy hit Kaisa 3, but I'm not facing him, so I don't need to worry about it. So that means that like you're not that pressured to roll down. And it essentially just allows you to be a little greedy. So you know how some games everyone's hitting like 3-star Jax in stage 4, 3-star Yumi in stage 4, 2-star Talia in 4-1. Those games happen, and it's not even like prismatic augments, right? It's just like a random game where everyone just happens to high roll. In those games, you have to play much more aggressively. But in this one, like, you know, this guy's got Z1 on 5-3. Like, he's not that strong. The other guy hit Kaisa on 5-2, which is, like, mediocre, right? That's, like, kind of expected. Actually, it's a little early, but, like, that guy was super low health. So there just really isn't anything that threatening in this game. I think I should go maybe Deathblade or Shieldbreaker here. Even, who am I facing? Like, I forget who's in the game. I guess Deathblade Runons is always just going to be a classic good combo because Runons just is based off your attack damage, and Deathblade gives attack damage, right? So what more do you want? We're facing the Jax guy. He's pretty weak right now. He didn't hit Jax 3, so we should be able to beat him. Even with the evasion. Evasion is annoying, don't get me wrong, but like, yeah. If he had maybe like Brawler Emblem, he probably would beat us, but he doesn't this game. Alternatively, he could have Jax 3, but again, doesn't have that either, because again, this lobby is a little bit weaker than normal. We're facing a Samira 2. That's about average too. Sedge 2, Samira 2. Does he beat us? Our Vayne isn't going like that ham, so his Samira could have popped off there, but somehow didn't. You know what? That Annie with the Ox Force kind of bought a lot of time, but we're going to level up to 9 in this game most likely. I'm actually pretty proud that I made the decision to go 9 this game because it made a lot of sense. All right, let's see this. What do we want? Maybe Shroud. No, Shroud doesn't really help against Jax or anything. Samira helps a little bit. I go for Hand of Justice. Is that correct? Maybe I'm using it for the random legendary I'm about to drop in. That one's tough. Maybe tank item would have been better. I'm still praying for this. I'm such an optimist, you know. I put it on my Gangplank because I'm like, oh, he's my Zed item holder. It's like that Ty Lopez video where he goes like optimism or whatever. I literally think that freaking I'm going to hit the Zed. Holy cow. There were no other damage items in that item armory, by the way. So literally Hand of Justice was the only choice, even though it's not like my first pick of Zed items, you know. For Zed, we probably covered this already in the video, but I'll reiterate it just again. Best item by far, Edge of Night. After that, I just slam whatever items I can build on him. I don't really stress too much about it. Wow, we lost to the Brawler's Ghost, but not the actual player, which is weird. Normally the Ghosts are a bit weaker, but he loses to the other guy, so that's good. But after that, I think Runon's is the best. So Edge of Night, then Runon's, then third item, it's going to depend on what your opponents are playing. If they have a lot of health, obviously Giant Slayer. If they have shields, Guard Breaker's really good. If they have a lot of armor, then Last Whisper's really good. But if you build any of those, like, you're not going to go wrong, you know? Even like a double Runons could be done too, or like IE if you're facing squishies, like a lot of different things. We finally hit Zed on stage 6-2. Holy cow, the optimism actually paid off. You know, I actually thought I never hit him this game, so I guess I did. So maybe I lied. I'm sorry about that. I honestly thought I didn't hit him because, I mean, does hitting him on stage 6-2 even count? I mean, I beat this guy anyways without the Zed. But now we get our 8 duelists in with this Bel'Veth, so I guess that's kind of cool too. Yeah, this guy stands no chance. So we whack him for like 20 life there or something. We just need to kill him once more. Notice how we didn't really need Vayne 3. Like, I guess Duelist Bel'Veth is pretty good. I definitely underestimated this game. I was like super pissed when I was playing this. And okay, let's see what we can put in. Aphelios Duelist has to be better than Bel'Veth, right? But I'm not going to ditch him at this point in the game, or ditch her. 2-star Leona, can we even play this? I'll buy it. Probably goes in over Alistair. Who did I put it in over? Oh, I dropped down to 6 duelists. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. There's no point running a Gangplank 1, right? This late in the game. Even if it is to activate the duelist trait. Because Bel'Veth, she has built-in attack speed from her ability, so she doesn't really need the duelist trait. It definitely helps so that she casts faster and whatnot, but like she already gets so much attack speed naturally. But yeah, pretty solid game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these compilations. Like, these were definitely some weird games out there. They weren't standard apart from the first one, but obviously I'm going to show you the standard one as well as all the weird stuff that happens. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what comps you'll like to see next. The next one I'm probably going to do is Kai'Sa. I think Kai'Sa is a great comp to kind of go over, and it's one of my favorites so far this set. But overall, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you do have questions, do timestamp them below in the comments so I know exactly which point you're referring to. And apart from that, I hope to see you all in my next video.